What is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for jumping in to this video slash podcast today, or video, I guess. It's all depending on when you're watching it, of course. My name is Danny Coldblood, aka Music Vidiot, and we are here in the wonderful world of Grand Theft Auto Online, but we're also going to be entering the wonderful world of Codewalker as well. We're going to do a little bit of an investigation today concerning the present and the past, and hopefully it will help with the future all concerning the infamous unsolved Easter egg since the day the game came out in 2013. The CHILIAD Mystery within Grand Theft Auto 5. So thank you guys all for jumping in. If you are here live with me in the flesh, do not hesitate to participate in the chat. It's always a good time, and I will do my best to reply to anything that you guys post in the comments. If you're watching this as a video after the fact, definitely leave a comment. And if you're here live in the flesh, like I said, go ahead and post in the chat any opinions, ideas, theories. If you think that what I'm saying is maybe on the right path, or whatever you feel. This is a community effort, as we all know. So I definitely can use your help, because this is definitely not something one man can solve. This is definitely, I think I just said definitely like 8 times in a row. Anyway, at least it wasn't 88 times in a row, right? This is something that we, not definitely, but we really definitely need to do together. So, with that being said, let's take a sip of some green juice and get right into it. I'm drinking some, not green juice, but some nice strawberry half and half iced tea and lemonade. The Arnold Palmer. It's pretty good stuff. Anyway, I recently did a broadcast, a live stream with Dibs Gaming. Big shout out to my brother Dibs out there in the Netherlands. And we discussed these new artwork pictures that are given to us within the casino update. And it really got us thinking. And man, the speculation that happened during that stream was probably some of the best discussions I've had ever with any mystery hunter. That was probably one of the best discussion videos ever. So if you guys missed that, definitely go ahead and check it out. It is on my channel. And it's the last thing I posted, as a matter of fact. So check that out if you missed it. But I'm going to be doing a little bit of like a recap plus a further investigation as well. So if this is a little bit longer of a video or stream, I'm letting you know now, it's definitely going to be worth it, because we are going to be getting into the down and dirty, baby. So, first things first, it's like a little refresher for everybody. When we got the casino update, they actually are changing out the things that you could purchase, like the masks and the jewelry and the clothes, but also the artwork that we can buy for our penthouse. And the artwork they came out with certain things, and then they went to other things. Like, as you can see on the screen, it says this painting right here on the left is called Senseless, and it's by someone named Merle Adcock. Now, that was the first image to come out when the update came out. And then, I don't know, a week later, there was another image, and that was this one right here. And it was called Illogical by Merle Adcock. So this image went away. The Senseless one disappeared off of the casino shop to be purchased, and it was replaced by this painting. So they're both by Merle Adcock, but this one replaced that one, so you had to have bought this one to have it. So after that, I'm not sure how long, how much time went by, maybe another week or so, but then they went ahead and gave us another picture by Merle Adcock, and that was called Unsound. So we did a little bit of talking about this on the channel the other day, and it's really interesting what we came up with. So first of all, for those of you that don't know, this Senseless picture is actually the Chiliad mural, but it's needed to be turned 90 degrees to the right for it to be accurate representation of the mural, the way we look at it in the game. This right here needs to be turned at 90 degrees to the right as well, and it actually is our in-game map looking at none other than Mount Chiliad, right where the mural is located. As you can see, we have, this line, how it goes up and it splits and it goes down. Below that, we have the squiggly line. Above it, we have the little circle here. Okay, if we look at the picture, it's all right there, but it's just turned. And then the last picture was this, and this is what we're kind of stuck on. We don't really know what it represents, but we have enough clues to kind of venture forward with kind of like we could start speculating, we could start theorizing, we could start trying to figure it out because there is a couple things that we notice within these images that all connect. So I'm going to go ahead and go on my computer to my folder, and we are going to open up Merle Adcock 1. Boom. So this is something I put together earlier today. This is the first one that came out, this is the second one that came out, and this is the third one that came out, okay? Now, in the definition of senseless, which is basically lacking common sense, wildly foolish, but in the definition we can see we have a synonym being illogical. And it's kind of like, in a weird way, it foreshadowed the next image to come out, which was called illogical. And in that definition, and now illogical is lacking sense or clear sound reasoning. Okay? Lacking sense or clear sound reasoning. And in the synonyms for that, we have the word unsound, which was basically a foreshadow for what? Yes, the third one that recently came out called unsound, which means not safe or robust, in poor condition. So looking in the actual definition, it makes me think maybe safe, maybe that has to do with the heists. We talked a lot about the mural, maybe lining up, the 5 X's lining up with the 5 heists. So maybe the safe, maybe we could take the words segregate and rearrange, you know what I mean? And try to figure out maybe there's some kind of connection there. Talking about segregating and rearranging, if we take Merle Adcock and turn it, put it in an anagram creator, we have some interesting words. Now, there was a lot more little things that came out with this anagram, but just a couple really got my interest. We got dream cockle. Okay, and a cockle is like a clam, kind of like a shellfish, kind of like a clam thing. And we know that clams were something that we had to collect within GTA 4. Or, was it San Andreas? It was San Andreas, I'm sorry. Maybe it was also I don't know. I'm mixing up my stuff. But either way, it's interesting because a lot of what we talked about in our discussion the other day, me and Debs, talked about going underwater and talked about sound, okay? I've been talking about sound for a very long time, guys. I've been stressing it. So this is really insane the way things are starting to line up and match up here. Another one is remade clock. Now that's interesting. Remember that that clock that I found in the game? The one that when you zoom in on it, it's in another language and we can decipher it, and it says the more things change, the more they stay the same. Stay the same. So that's really interesting that remade clock could be made out of that name as well. Emerald cock, that's interesting. And cracked mole, that really got my attention because we know that cracked is exactly what it is on the Easter, on the mural, a cracked egg. And mole, now talking about sound, remember the song It's a Setup? The one that if you pick the ending of the game, what was it, Death Wish, where we all live, all 3 characters live, that song comes on, and it's Om, it's a setup. First of all, it starts off saying Om, like an Om is, directly related to sound. But Om, it's a setup, it's a setup. There's a traitor, there's a mole, there's a peacetime overthrow. So a mole is something that also, goes underground. Even the song says, we need to get underground, yeah. So anyway, what was I preaching so long ago before the gun running updates, before the Doomsday updates? I was preaching about the underground clues I was finding, and what ended up happening, guys. We now have underground bunkers. We have the jetpack finally, and that is basically us going under the mural, underground in Mount Chiliad during the Doomsday heist. So a lot of things are connecting. A lot of things are making a lot of sense. So I just wanted to go ahead and show this to you, a little thing I wanted to show you guys. But going back to the 3 images themselves, okay, and how they're connected by just visually looking at them. Take a look at this. I'm going to open this up with Paint. Open it up now. Okay. So, like I said, if we rotate this 90 degrees to the right, it's now the mural, okay? The egg is here. The UFO guy is in this box. The jetpack guy is in that box. the top of the murals here, and all the thunderbolts are all around it. Okay, so you guys should be very familiar with that by now. If we go ahead and rotate this 90 degrees to the right, it is an exact map of where this stands, okay? It's like right over here is where Mount Chiliad mural would be, and this is our map. Now, if we rotate, now this is where it gets interesting. If you look, before I go ahead and actually rotate that, I just want to show you guys something. We'll rotate this back to the way it was. So this is the way, no, that's not the way it was. Yeah. Okay, this is the way it was. So if we look at these two pictures, something, there's a common denominator between these two images. And that is, let me zoom in on these guys here. That is right here. We have this smudge mark. See this smudge mark right here? Well, that is right here as well. It's just very interesting because this is like a pink background, and then you got a green smudge. This one's a green background with a pink smudge. So they inverted. They inverted the colors, but the smudges are the same. Now, if we look at this image, that smudge is there as well, but it's just not in that spot. What do we have to do to make it go in that spot? Yes, we have to rotate it again, 90 degrees to the right. So maybe 90 degrees is something like that we can look at within the game. Like maybe there was that coordinate man that I found on the beach on the East Coast. I have a video about that. Maybe with coordinates, maybe something like that will help us. But just for right now, we know that we have to turn each one of these 90 degrees for them to be meaningful. You know, for these two to actually make sense with the game, and for this to actually make sense, the third one to make sense with the first two. So now we have the smudges all in the same spots. But now I want to show you guys another little interesting piece of observation. There is a new clue that has just been discovered. I found this out earlier today. If you take a look at the image, we have like a watermark or something, whatever this is. A stain, a watermark. What is happening? Oh. Okay. We have a stain or watermark like this. See this thing? I'm not the best tracer with paint crayons, but you get my drift. And we have another one right over here too. Alright? Now, if you look at this image, you can actually see that the same splash, like little watermarks, are on it as well. So not only is that smudge in the same spot, but we actually have like the other small details on here as well. These little smudges, or these little watermarks, whatever this is. Okay, so we have this weird smudge thing that's a common denominator. Then we also have the watermarks. Now, if you look at this image doesn't appear to have it, but it actually does. First, like I said, you had to rotate it 90 degrees to the right so it matches these with the smudge marks, right? So now we are aligned with each picture in the same way. But this image is actually zoomed in, a zoomed in image of these two images. Because if you take a look at the little smudge marks here, they actually look different, but they're the same as these ones, just zoomed in. It's like this little tip, and then you can see like the little thing that comes out, and then the little bump there. That's this right here. See it? Like the tip, the little thing that comes out, and then that bump there. And then if you go down, you can see the very top little mound of that little splatter one that's down here. So basically, what we're looking at is like this much, like a little bit more, like maybe, yeah, like maybe that much of, and then it cuts off basically in its turn. So we basically are looking at like this image right here, like it's zoomed in that much more. This chunk is what it's focusing on. And it's just pretty crazy because I'm not sure what this is. These two are obviously a about like locations on the map. This is the mural. This is zoomed in on. This is the part of the map where the mural is. And now what is this? We can't figure it out because we don't know what these lines mean. And I'm wondering if they can mean maybe more than one thing. Maybe they're actual like maybe one is like a road. Maybe one is like a path on the mountain. I noticed that in the game when you're flying around over Mount Chiliad, there's actually like some paths that are there in the game, but they actually don't show up in the in-game map or on the little radar. So it's something to think about. It's just a new observation that we didn't have before, so I wanted to point that out with these little watermarks. And I also wanted to point out that those watermarks, like, if we take a look at them before I scribbled all over them, these watermarks kind of remind me in a way of how the game looks when it's showing us the different levels of like depth or whatever within the ocean when playing the game. Like, to give you a better idea what I'm trying to say here, let me see, where did I save that? Right here. So you see how we have that same kind of like watermark look on the map when we're above water? I wonder if maybe that is something that we're seeing on those images. I mean, it's just a speculation, so you'll have to let me know what you guys think about that. But it's just something I also wanted to throw out there as well. There's a couple other things. Morbid Freak, good hunter and viewer of the channel. He's actually going to help us out with the broadcast today with using one of his pieces of equipment. But he put together a couple, like we were talking about, overlaying these images. Maybe these match up and we have to do an overlay. So he went ahead and put those images on top of each other for us. So just taking a look at these, I know it looks pretty crazy, but if you're interested, this is what it looks like when you overlay all three images together, matching up the smudges to be aligned with each other. And then we have the now I'm lost. Oh, and then we have this one as well. So looking at the map, these squiggly lines aligned with it as far as the smudges go. I'm not sure if this means anything to you guys. I don't know if we have to align this third image, the unsound image, to, I don't know if it makes any sense, but I'm so far I'm not figuring it out so far. I don't know. So that's just there for your own interests in case you're interested in seeing it overlaid on top of each other. Now, really quick, what did I want to show you guys here before we move on? Okay, we're looking at pieces of art, right? In the casino update, we're looking at different pictures of art. Remember what the art director said. The art director for GTA5. The art director for GTA5, Aaron Garbut, said that Grand Theft Auto 5 is so packed with Easter eggs and references that he feels that it is impossible for anyone to find them all. He was asked about the fabled Yeti rumored in the first visit to San Andreas, and he said that players would be wowed. Wowed. He specifically, quote-unquote, said players would be wowed. Now, that makes me think of the wow signal, which is having to do with sound yet again, and it's just very suspicious that he said that. And also, he also said that there's stuff that's so obscure that most people will never see it. What about hearing it? Will we ever hear it? And this is stuff that the art director said. Now that we're looking at art in the game, this is kind of obvious stuff, guys. I mean, it didn't take long for me to look at this image when this DLC came out and realize that I'm looking at a sideways image of the mural. Okay? It did not take me long. These are huge clues. I mean, the guy's name is Merle Adcock. Merle sounds very close to mural as it is. So I think Rockstar blatantly made sure that we were going to catch on to these clues. And why are they doing that? And you got to think about the whole picture, okay? When we were hunting years ago, trying to figure this thing out, we went to the Overy Gallery in the city, and we were looking at the different pictures there, the different art pictures. And in those pictures, we had a lot of things that were kind of suspicious and very interesting. And I wonder if Rockstar wants us to go back and take a better and closer look at those images now. So that's one thing that me and Dibs kind of did the other day at the end of our broadcast. But I want to go ahead and do a little bit better of a job today in Codewalker since I'm able to go through the walls and stuff. So let's go ahead and jump inside of Codewalker and see if there's anything suspicious or anything that we could piece together while looking at this puzzle of art. We're going to go ahead and head over to the Overay Gallery. Let's go ahead and give some shout-outs to everybody that are here live with us in the flesh, in the chat. We got, who do we got in the house? We have Almighty Coon in the house. What's going on, Almighty Coon? Thanks for jumping in. We have Reserved Gaming in the house. What's up, Reserved? Grant Bradley. How you doing, bud? We have, Alex Marquez. What's up, Alex? Thanks for jumping in, my friend. We have Morbid Freak himself in the chat. Thanks for jumping in, Morbid. Greek Freak. What is going on, Greek Freak? Thanks for jumping in. We have Lil K's. What's up, Lil K's? We have Flare0080. How are you doing, my friend? Thanks for jumping in. We have Saiz and Setsu. What's going on, Saiz and Setsu? Thanks for jumping in. The Only Show. What's going on? Thanks for jumping in. On Diaper. On Diaper? Or is it One Diaper? Anyway, what's going on Diaper? Thanks for jumping in. We have Al Nezel. Thanks for jumping in, Al Nezel. We have Lois666 Quebec. And he actually commented and said, Merle, isn't that the name of the Infinite 8 Killer? It is. Merle Abrams was the name of the Infinite 8 Killer up in Sandy Shores. So it is very suspicious that Merle Adcock is the guy painting these big, crazy, insane clued to hell pictures for us. So that's a great connection. Awesome connection there, Lois. We have Tog Sage in the house. What's up, Tog Sage? We have, who else we got in here? Mr. Scott, how you doing, Mr. Scott? So, let's go ahead and take a look at this Overay Gallery. If you didn't get a shout-out, that means you were not participating in the chat, and you don't deserve one. But, if you feel like you do deserve one, then speak up, and I'll get back to you guys with shout-outs in a minute. Anyway, let's go ahead and drink some green juice together. Go ahead. Everyone raise your glasses. That was pretty good green juice. All right. Now, we're going to take a look at this Overay Gallery. So, we have really interesting images. Let me see if I can get a better time of day. Who knows? Maybe a certain shadow would actually help, like section off or point directly at a certain part that we need to be looking at. We have this, which is interesting because there's actual X's on there. Maybe it's they're marking certain things. Like, we don't know what this is. Now that we know that 2 of the 3 pictures that we have are directly related to the geography of the game, like the area of Mount Chiliad and the mural itself, maybe these pictures in here are also having to do with geography. Maybe these are locations in the game. Maybe they're Xing certain spots out for us. Oh, there's 4 X's here. There's just one smaller. Well, technically there's tons more if you want to count all these little ones. But I'm not sure, guys. If anything strikes you and you're like, wow, that's this or that, definitely speak up and let me know. We have this image here. I also did investigate these images a while ago, and I thought I had one figured out. I think it was this one I thought looked like the Zancudo River, but I'm not sure if I was accurate or not. So the next picture we have is, I wonder if this water connects, like if we put both pictures together. And I'll go ahead and talk to you guys about that in a second, because I have some images of these pictures being put together, and it does work. So it just goes to show you that Rockstar definitely put clues in the artwork, and I really feel like they're putting, new artwork in the game and making it huge clues and connections, because they want us to go back to this previous artwork that's already here. And I'll show you guys why in a minute, because when you look at this artwork and you do segregate and rearrange, you do come up with some stuff, and I'll get to that in one moment. Let's just take a quick one by one look at these images. We have this one that says Bang. That's kind of similar to some of the pictures that we've been getting. We've had some of these kind of images in the new artwork with the casino update. We have this one. There's like a penny. There's a foot. There's an arrow. There's numbers. It says miasma. We have 88. Looks like maybe train tracks. That makes you wonder if it's like, having to do the Back to the Future thing. We know that In the Drink is on the blueprint map over by the Humane Labs, and Mike also says that in the Merryweather Heist, I believe, in the one option. We have hologram something. Yes, 1121114, then 1V, which is also 4. So we have these weird pictures here that we really don't have a definite answer for. That says Bleecker. We have a heart with an arrow. We have the word tracked. We have a radio tower. It looks like it's sending off sound. Gush, gush, gusher. We have like a chicken bone. A horn. So that's really interesting. Like, that's also going to connect to something else that we do in this video. We're going to use a car horn in a minute. I'm going to try to activate something. We also have a cube, which is interesting because the Mount Chiliad mural, when you clip behind it, has a cube behind it as well. So I don't know what, if these are direct links to the actual, like, mystery in that sense, or if we have to do something different with these images to basically get a bigger picture out of them, and then maybe use the clues that we gather from that moment and go forward with that. So let's go ahead and take a look at that for a second. I do have something I want to show you. If we go down to where? Right here. So we have this image. Notice how the colored lines actually connect perfectly to the other paintings in a way that makes complete sense to put them together. Just like the 3 new ones that we have, senseless, illogical, and unsound. The smudges, they all can be put together by a visual marking. So right here we have visual markings that allow us to put these together as well. So it's pretty interesting. I'm wondering exactly what we might have to do here, guys. Like, what the deal is, because this is pretty insane. I mean, come on. There's no doubt about it that they made this stuff to be connected. And it also makes me think of the newest mural that we had, which was underground, under Mount Chiliad in the Doomsday Heist. And that mural, which was under the other mural, but it's sectioned off in 4 different colors that appear to be the same colors on those as were on those original art pictures. So, something to think about. I mean, you got the mural here, we got like sound wave kind of things. I don't know. I'm really convinced that it's tied to sound. I'm really convinced that a lot of this is going to be visually a big visual experience with artwork, okay? With actually having to do something with the artwork, with, follow the clues on the artwork, put the artwork together. I told you how those 2 pictures were basically color inverted. We also had UFOs that were color inverted. One was called Visitors Welcome, one is Visitors Unwelcome. Going back to Code Walker, if we go across the street from this place right here, the Over Gallery, we have another gallery over here. And this one is called the Mount Bank Gallery. Now that's interesting enough because we have, Mount Chiliad with the mural on it, and we also have Maze Bank. So kind of like the maze on the mountain, if you segregate and rearrange. Also, looking at this place, we can't go and do this in the game, but here within Codewalker, I can go and bust through the gates, my friends. And we could take a look at all the art in here, basically one by one. And just like I showed you those other ones connected, these are squiggly, just like that unsound one. Just like this this third one that we can't really figure out what the hell's going on with it. It has these squiggly lines on it. Well, maybe, just maybe, if we could figure out something with these, we can have an idea of how to decipher that third unsound artwork that we have by Merle Adcock within the last casino update. So it looks like there's a lot of different colors and squiggly lines that might be able to be rotated in different ways and put together to ultimately form an image or something. Now, me and Morbid were doing a little bit of looking at this stuff earlier, and the one in particular looks very similar to a location in the map. And I believe it's this one. So we have this image kind of like making like a sideways football. See it? I see this like little like sideways football here. And then it crosses off and goes up and that way, up and that way. To the left we have like a line. Take a look at the in-game map. Right over here. Look at this. We have this football like right here. See it? We have this football, kind of like the same shape. And then we have the squiggly lines like right here. We have the streets. I'm wondering if maybe some of these locations are also other geographic points. I mean, it would make sense. And if it is, maybe these are locations that we have to go to and listen for different sounds or something. I'm not too sure. Like I said, your opinions, your thoughts, your ideas, your theories, all that is definitely encouraged and appreciated, because I really would love to be able to go further within this mystery and try to really figure this out. There's a lot here. There's a lot to talk about. And, I mean, I'm just doing a really quick run-through. I'm not focusing too much on one thing because I just want to kind of get all this new information out to you guys. And then I'm going to be able to do some follow-up streams and videos for you guys where we get a little bit more in-depth with this stuff. So I'm basically giving you like the prerequisite video now to get you to where all this is under your belt, and then we can go a little bit deeper from that point on. So stay tuned to some upcoming videos and streams that I have planned for you guys. But anyway, in this building, I want to go ahead and shout out Living on the Edge for noticing that, well, first of all, this is the one picture that doesn't seem to make sense with the rest. Everything else is like abstract squigglies. And then this one is a Fleeca bank picture. But it's interesting because just like, Maze Bank can be tied to Mount Chiliad by just the name Mount Bank, okay? But we know that Fleeca, for some reason, has two letters that are the same color and they're connected to each other, and that is the E and the E. And we know that an E and E could be also looked at as an Easter egg. So it's really something to think about, guys. I mean, I don't know. I'm really thinking that there's reason to believe that that's what they're trying to show us here. You can see that picture that I brought up, this one right here, is also right here, but it's turned. See it? So maybe that's even their way of telling us back then when they gave us this stuff. Like, hey, maybe you should rotate these images. Who knows? We'll know more once we do more trial and error and actually get down and dirty with this stuff and try to connect these things and see if we can make anything out of any of this stuff. So I will spend some time on that later myself. Let me know what you guys end up doing, if you guys end up working on this at all as well. Now, like I said, in the last broadcast, we did a lot of talking about sound. And I'll go ahead and show you guys what I'm talking about really quick. And then we're going to go ahead and physically try something out in the game. It's an action that I have not yet tried out. So if something happens, it'll be happening live during the stream, which would be great. That'd be so awesome to actually trigger or find or whatever, discover something during a stream. That'd be sweet. So we talked about this image, and it's got the mural on it, okay? And it's got these like little like lines next to the stuff showing that it's making sound. All right, like the lightning bolts are making sound. You know, that's making sound. The peyotes, the Bigfoots are making sound on their feet and by their bodies. Maybe they're growling, just like how we had to use the growls, listen for the growls to find the beast. And then we have the UFO, which also has the same things coming off of it, making sound. And we also talked about how the dots, if you look at them, that also could be interpreted as Morse code. Like we have the small dots here, and then the longer ones there, and then the smaller ones again there. So, I mean, that's really interesting. Also, if we look at this picture, it's got like the shark fin. Okay, we got the stars above, so we know that we're outside the water. As we get closer to the shark fin, where we're closer to the actual like level line of the water, we can see it goes like that, like a wave, but then it gets really quick, like a sound wave. So they're actually, you know, being clever and using the perspective or perception tools and showing us how we can look at this thing in two different ways. Two different ways by looking at the waves, right? So we got the water line, which is, you know, something that will also have waves on it, but this actually is a sound wave at the same time, which is, you know, it's just a great little trick that they pulled. And then under the waves, the sound waves, we have the underwater life, like the shark's whole body. We have the sea stars there. We have this thing as well. And it's making either noise or it's got something important to it. This could be like the underwater UFO or maybe even the underwater hatch. Don't forget that the underwater hatch also plays Morse code, which is tied to GTA5, asking us if, you know, we want to go bowling, basically. And that's interesting because that's something we talked a lot about, too, is maybe we have to hang out with different friends in the single-player mode and do different activities a little bit more. So maybe it's something to do with that, or maybe we do have to go and do something or you know, try to trigger something down underwater at the underwater UFO or the underwater hatch. So, you know, talking about that stuff, we're going to actually go ahead and do that in this episode. We're going to go ahead and head over to the underwater hatch, and we're going to see if we can hear that Morse code, and maybe we can use our horn, because that one picture, and where is that picture? It has a horn on it. So maybe even back then they were telling us to use our horns, like our car horns. Okay? So you know that they obviously like to do plays on words, like we just seen with the waves. So I think it would be a great thing to do. Go ahead and try to check out the hatch underwater and see if there's anything that we can trigger by using a horn. Maybe we can even go to the underwater UFO. And, I mean, this is just I'm really rushing through this because I don't want this video to be 10 hours long. But, honestly, guys, there's a lot to talk about. I still have a lot of stuff that I'm not even bringing up right now. So, definitely stay tuned for more content, guys, because I'm going to be coming out with more streams and videos to you know, basically, you know, have like a follow-through video. First of all, let's see if we can spin the wheel. I've never had luck on this thing yet. Maybe today is the day. Oh my God. I won the pincer piece of clothing. Yay! Actually, that reminds me, they did just put out new clothing, with including this clown mask, which is pretty dope. But there was something interesting with a couple of the shirts.
Oh, yeah. Besides, Barb would never thank you for any of this fancy doohickey.
Know what you want?
That's interesting. The stars and the Yeti. Okay, yeah, look at this. Red Ancient Large shirt. Ancient, huh? And if you look, between the birds, there's like a flower, but there's like an X right in there. So that's kind of cool. And then this one's X's and boxes. See that? So again, their artistry, their creative little artwork is blended in even with their clothing, guys. Even with the clothing.
Been in here forever.
So let's go ahead and see if we can do anything with the underwater hatch.
Service sucks a big one in this place.
I keep it real. What are you gonna do, sue me for it? Oh wait, she already did.
And while I go ahead and do this, I'm gonna go ahead and give some more shout outs. We have Zmew Davis in the house. What's going on, Zmew? Transit 730, what's up? Thanks for jumping in. Transit 730 says that the painting looked like a spectrogram chart. Interesting. We have Nigel Diaz. We don't know, Nigel. It could be a hint towards GTA 6. It could be concerning the actual Chiliad mystery. It could be, I mean, with Rockstar, you never freaking know, man. We have GTA5 decoders in the house. GTA5 decoder says that the basketball in Franklin's house has a rooster printed on it and has lines. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, so I don't own what I really want to go and try is there's no other way we can use a horn at those hatches unless we have the Stromberg. So I'm prepared to go ahead and buy the Stromberg right now. Let me go ahead and do that. Because this is something I've been wanting to get for a while anyway. As a hunter, you kind of need this vehicle to do the whole ocean aspect of it. Okay, perfect. Now, we'll go ahead and start a motorcycle club up. There's Morbid Freak right there. I think he might actually have a Stromberg ready for us to use. Beautiful.
I know.
And then, you know, it could be, and this is the thing with trial and erroring with Rockstar. We can go ahead and try this out, and it could not work. And it could be because of one small stupid little detail, like it could be something like we didn't use the right horn. So just because, you know, you go and try something, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't mean it doesn't necessarily mean that you could just check it off the list. Like, nope, Stromberg hatch doesn't work. There could have been one small variant or variable, one little factor that wasn't accurate, you know, that could be screwing it all up. So we're gonna hope that something will happen here, but just in case it doesn't, remember that there's so many different things that go into this. And that's why it's important that we all do our own hunting, like, because the odds that somebody gets something to work are way better. The last time I was in the Stromberg underwater, I noticed something crazy too with the windows. Like, there was like prisms of light that were going through like the windshield and the side driver door, or passenger door, I think it was. Uh-oh. I'm not too good at this. Okay, let's try to get out of here. Yeah, baby. Like, maybe using one of the musical horns would be the way to go. That was an awesome jump. And don't forget also, there's the Rebel radio tower that has Morse code on it, and then if you hit it with a sticky bomb or whatever, you know, cause an explosion, it will give us SOS. And then there's also, what else is there? There's the altruist camp that has Morse code. There's underwater hatch. Like, there's spots throughout the game that do it, and there's so many spots. There's that stuff that you can hear within the Chiliad T1 tunnels, TO1 tunnel. So it's like they've stressed to us in so many different ways with so many different clues that sound is important. Even in the penthouse, if you go into the spa area and you listen closely, you can hear like frequency sounds, you know. And they just did give us, Morbid was talking about how they just gave us a lost slam van, how you can only earn it within spinning that wheel. And or no, that's not the only way you can earn it. I think you can buy it outright, but still, they just gave us this lost slam van, and this hatch is basically a parody of the Lost hatch from the TV show The Lost, or Lost. So, you know, there is little connections here and there. It's just which ones are the ones we need to be following. It's really dark. Listen to that. That's a crazy noise. For this, I'm going to turn the volume up for you guys as much as I can. can't change my clothing here. Let me, let me see if I can't. Because I'm going to want to also get out of the water with the scuba gear on. So really quick, we'll go up to shore. Yeah, that noise that we're hearing with the Stromberg is very interesting as well. So we're going up to this little island. Perfect. Okay. We're on our way to the underwater hatch, and then I think we'll make our way over to the underwater UFO while we're at it. But if you notice, like, this is what I was talking about. If you look out the side windows, like, it's not like that through the windshield, but if you look out the side windows, you get all these prisms of light that come through with the Stromberg. You see that? Like, that's just so crazy. I seen that a while ago, and I actually talked about it in a video. And that was the first time I realized that maybe the Stromberg is something I want to purchase and investigate stuff with, you know. So now that we got a lot of clues leading us to the underwater again, and with sound, I just think it'd be a perfect little test to end at the broadcast with, to go ahead and check out the underwater hatch, and maybe even take a look at that UFO. Okay, so we're right in the vicinity of the hatch right now. Oh, you just float? I thought it was going to help me sink. It's kind of hard to go straight down in this thing. Some weird noises down here, guys. I'm not even sure if the underwater hatch is in online. I think it's supposed to be like right around here. It's supposed to be, I'm thinking, right? I believe it's right here. The hatch is located. Like right in this grass spot. I heard the banging just now. Did you guys hear that? I just heard the banging of the hatch. So that'd be really interesting if the hatch is not located in online, but they left the sound file for online to hear. That would be very interesting. Trying to listen to see if I can hear. Yeah, I feel like I heard it a couple times. But it also sounds like there's some other really creepy stuff going on in there. So, I don't know. I'm not seeing the hatch. Maybe the hatch doesn't, they don't have it online for some reason. But I do think I heard it. I did hear some banging. It's pretty interesting, guys. And then, you know, maybe the underwater UFO is tied to this. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to hear anything there at times. Like, I don't know. There's also, you know, there's some stuff that I also want to bring up as well with the underwater UFO. So I might actually wait to leave that for the next episode because it'll tie in great with some other stuff that I want to bring up. Because I haven't brought up everything that I wanted to bring up to you guys about all this stuff today. I left a good portion of things out just because I didn't want this to be too crazy long of a video. But definitely stay tuned because you're going to want to hear and see some of these other connections. You really are. And hopefully, as a unit, we can unite, guys, and really try to piece these things together. The art puzzle is really insane. And there's a lot more work to do. There's a lot more things to try to connect, like I was showing you guys with the, let's see, where is it? With Code Walker over here. Just taking a look in here, it looks like you can definitely piece some of this stuff together. It really does. I mean, there's so much investigation needed to do. And then I want to go ahead and end it off with showing you guys that if you segregate and rearrange, things make sense. It says Chris Udanboy or Boji, whatever this is. But it says pieces of matter. Okay, these are all pieces inside this gallery. I think every one of these pieces matter. Pieces of matter? The art pieces matter? Absolutely. I truly believe that that's what that is saying. Pieces of matter. The art pieces, they do matter, guys. There is a puzzle at hand, and it's going to take all of us to put these puzzle pieces together and ultimately solve this Chiliad mystery. So I want to thank you guys all for jumping in today. It was an honor and a pleasure seeing you guys all jumping in the chat again and hanging out, and you know, it's really been awesome seeing you guys time and time again coming to the channel. So I can't stress how much appreciation and you know how much it's just awesome to see that happening. So thank you guys all again for your support and for continuing to show up. If you're new, think about subscribing. If you enjoyed the video, let me know that by leaving a like. And I will see you guys in the next video or broadcast. Keep hunting, stay strong. We'll see you in the next one. Until then, take it easy. Ta-ta. And, as always, peace.